And so people don't realize that we have the ability to manifest things. We have the ability to draw energy that we want to draw into our life. But if we don't feel worthy, if we feel stuck, if we're acting from a place of desperateness, we're not going to draw that energy in. Does that make sense? So when you go to the grocery store, you pay for your apples. You pay for your apples. You get apples. You eat apples. You feel good. You give, you receive. So everything is energy. Someone just said my credit card is going to blow up. You know what? I'm not encouraging accruing credit card debt, but you know what? If it wasn't for credit cards after my breakup, I would have been screwed. After my breakup, I couldn't work. So thank goodness that I had credit cards. Okay. So people get so scared of like having debt. Once again, not giving financial advice. I'm not encouraging you go out there and get a bunch of debt, but your life is important. So for me, it was like, I didn't care what I put on my credit card because I was either going to die or heal. So for me, it was like, if I die, none of this credit card is going to matter. So like, I want to live. I want to live. And once again, I'm not encouraging people do that, but credit cards, when someone gives you a credit card, that means they believe in you so much that you are going to be able to pay it off, and they give you credit. They literally give you money with a promise to pay. That's a privilege. I have people who I know can't get credit cards because they don't qualify. I've been there before. I've been there, and I used to be afraid of credit cards. I used to be so scared of debt. Oh no, I got this. I have to pay it off right away because it's like sitting over my head that I owe this money. And then what that's doing is creating a sense of lack, because you're like, oh my God, I owe money. Oh my God, I have to pay it off. I have debt. I have debt. I have debt. I have debt. Money doesn't like that energy. Money is energy. So money doesn't like to just sit there, you know? And I noticed that there were points in my life where I'm like, okay, I have to save and I have to save and I have to save. There's nothing wrong with saving, but then I wasn't like doing what I needed to do because I was afraid that the money is going to leave. And so guess what? I wasn't bringing anything in because I was like holding on so tight. And it's energy. It's not going to, I had a client tell me, oh, I want to manifest. I need abundance. I need abundance. And then she's telling me like, well, I can't afford this and I can't afford this and I can't afford this. I'm like, well, you keep talking about how you can't afford it and you keep coming from a place of lack, then how are you going to manifest abundance? Someone messaged me on Instagram recently, like telling me their whole story and how they're broke and they can't get a job and how their parents are supporting them. And they have an amazing profession that they can't get a job because they're so depressed and the parents are supporting them. And they want me to do free healing for them. And they promise they will pay me once they get a job. And I'm like, okay, so you are complaining that you don't have money, but you want someone else to do something for no money. Do you see that? Do you see how it's like, well, I don't have this, so I want you to do something for me and not have it because I don't know how to have it. And because I don't have it, do you see the energy? It's like take, or afraid to give, right? So how is money going to come to you? How is it going to come to you? Because it doesn't trust you to handle it, right? So when someone gives you credit, think of it this way. You have electricity. You pay your bill for electricity. Do you curse the electricity bill every time you pay it? Do you go, oh, I can't believe I have to pay this? No, you have to be grateful. You have electricity. Someone gives you electricity and you pay for it. We could have a whole discussion about Tesla and how we have free energy. We're not going to go into it. This is just an analogy we're using. Okay. So when you go to the grocery store, you pay for your apples. You pay for your apples. You get apples. You eat apples. You feel good. You give, you receive. So everything is energy. Yes, we have this thing and people are so afraid of it. And my entire life, I grew up, we were poor. We were refugees. The nicest clothes I ever owned were ones that my uncle bought me because he was the wealthiest one in our family. Everything else was like, whatever my mom could afford. She was a single mom. And so people don't realize that we have the ability to manifest things. We have the ability to draw energy that we want to draw into our life. But if we don't feel worthy, if we feel stuck, if we're acting from a place of desperateness, we're not going to draw that energy in. Does that make sense? So anyway, that's what I wanted to tell you. So I know I went on this like rant, but it's not really a rant because I come from that place of limited belief patterns that I wasn't worthy of certain things. And I thought only so many people who came from, wealthy families, they were worthy of it, but I wasn't, because I was raised by a single parent, because I never really knew what that's like. And then I would get intimidated. If like a wealthy guy wanted to date me back in the day, I would get intimidated because I'd be like, ooh, like, I don't know, like he has it made. And like, there's just so many limiting beliefs. Or I felt like, oh, he's spoiled, his parents did this for, there's so much judgment around money and finances. And at the end of the day, we literally need to see it as energy. I know it sounds crazy. It's a new concept, but what I want to remind you, when you're paying your bills, you don't just want to be grateful for when you get your paycheck and when money comes in. You want to be grateful for when you pay for things too. You pay for things. So I was grateful right before I went to Scotland in 2019, after I recovered partially enough to be able to travel again and get out of my black hole that I was in. Right before that, Chase sent me a new credit card and it was a contactless. And I'm like, perfect, because in Europe, that's all they need. They use contactless at the tube, the train station, everywhere you go. Even the ice cream stand had contactless. And that was like a gift. I was so grateful that they gave me this card so that I could travel. I wasn't thinking like, oh my God, how am I going to pay this off? I just trusted that I would be able to pay it off. And that's the energy you need to trust, that you are able to attract, but you're grateful for what you give and you're grateful for what you receive. That's all.